Hello, everyone. Welcome to July. I missed y'all. We missed last week because my husband brought home the plague and cursed my entire family. So I've still got a bit of a bark lingering around, but it doesn't hurt to talk or swallow anymore. So we are back on track. Before we get going, I want to remind you that Thursday is our Misbehavior proof class. I love running this class. We are going live at 8:30 p.m. on Thursday. We're doing it again Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern so that those of you in Europe can participate. I am so excited to run this again, y'all. We've been talking so much in our 14 Days of Foundation video series over in the Parenting Posse about mental skills, but it is such a big topic that we can really barely scratch the surface of it. So the class is really the best way to get y'all the information you need as quickly as possible. So the link to register for that, it is a totally free class, is in the description box around here somewhere. So make sure that you pop over there and drop your email address in, and I will see you either on Thursday night or Friday afternoon. Okay. One last thing real quick before we dive in. Welcome everyone to the MudRoom, our weekly free and live Uncommon Sense parenting class. My name is Allana Robinson, and I am a parenting effectiveness coach, and I help parents just like you of toddlers and preschoolers understand why their child is misbehaving and how to fix it without yelling, shaming, or using timeouts. So there was an interesting conversation that took place in the Parenting Posse last week, and I think it's worth expanding on. A posse member was concerned because her son was engaging in very rough and tumble play with another little boy, and she wasn't sure if that was normal or if she should be stopping this kind of play. So we've talked about this kind of play before multiple times, so if you want to learn more about rough and tumble play, I'll drop some links in the comments when I'm done, or if you're listening to this in the podcast version, just go back a few episodes. There's that bark. That's not really what we're going to be talking about tonight. Tonight is about the fact that multiple parents dropped the phrase, "boys will be boys," in various comments on that post. And that very rightfully got my mods and several members' backs up. So let's just talk for a second about this concept of boys will be boys, because I am a mother of 2 boys, and that phrase really irritates me too, with good reason. If you're watching, guys, remember, say hi, let me know you're here, talk to me. There is a bit of a lag though, so sometimes you type and it takes a minute or two for it to pop up over here. Okay, so boys will be boys is a phrase that's said generally when people are excusing the poor behavior of a young male. Generally simply because he is young and male. Oh, boys are being too rough. Boys will be boys. They're being disrespectful. Boys will be boys. They're not heeding boundaries and limits. Boys will be boys. Personally, I heard this phrase a lot as a child because I was bullied a lot by the boys in my community, and often it was said after I had been hurt or humiliated. Oh, well, boys will be boys. I'm sure they didn't mean anything by it. When someone says boys will be boys, what they're really saying is that male children are inherently violent, aggressive, loud, rambunctious, self-centered, and stupid. That male people are nothing more than their baser impulses, and we can't and shouldn't expect anything more from them than that. It can't be helped. They're boys. And further than that we're too lazy to even try to teach them anything else. We're too lazy to hold them accountable. Boys will be boys is an excuse. It excuses unacceptable behavior based on the erroneous and debunked notion of genetic determinism. So, genetic determinism was essentially torn to shreds as a serious topic of conversation in 2003 by Michael Tomasello in his work Constructing a Language. So Tomasello deconstructed how children learn language, where before his work, it was believed that there was like a language gene, and some people had a better version of it than others, and that's why learning languages is really easy for some people and not for others. And Tomasello just took that idea and tore it to little bits. There are things that are predetermined by your genes, but your intellect, your temperament, your behavior is not one of them, be you male or female or anything else. Excuse me. So children pick up sorry, I've got a dry throat all of a sudden. Children pick up very early. Like, research has shown that children have very firm appraisal patterns by age 3. Children pick up the differences in how boys and girls are treated and internalize that gendered behavior very, very early. It's a result of social conditioning. Boys, in particular, don't need rough and tumble play any more than girls. Children need rough and tumble play to develop their vestibular system, a sense of power, conflict resolution skills, a moral compass, and so much more. Like, we talked about all that stuff in other episodes. The benefits of rough and tumble, war, weapon, and superhero play are just absolutely prolific for everybody. There's just so many benefits, and it applies to both genders. When it becomes unacceptable, when it crosses lines, when it doesn't seek consent, when it goes too far, that applies to all genders. It is not acceptable for boys to be more rough, to ignore their partner's consent or lack of consent, to ignore the established and agreed upon rules any more than it would be for a girl to do so. And in this particular post, the mom was worried because her son had explicitly said to the boy that he was playing with, "Stop." And the other kid kept going. And that's when most commenters were saying, no, boys will be boys. That is not okay. It is not okay for children to ignore the revoking of consent from their peers. And by brushing it off with boys will be boys, what you've now communicated to that child is that boys don't need to stop when they're told to stop. They don't need to respect other people's boundaries and limits. They don't need to treat other people with respect. And is it any wonder that when they get to be teens and suddenly we're like, oh, well, you need to stop when a girl says stop, that they don't know how? They've had absolutely no practice. What this phrase also communicates to boys is that being loud, aggressive, rambunctious, and self-centered is the only way to be a boy. Because it's so expected that it's given a completely free pass. And children go through a phase between about the ages of 4 and 8 where they define their gender expression by what they are not. Being a boy means primarily not being a girl. Okay, so sorry guys. Okay, so how do I make sure that everyone understands that I am not a girl? I do all the free pass stuff, right? Because if I respect boundaries and limits, if I listen to consent, if I'm quiet and calm, that's girl stuff. And that's been made clear from the time I was a very, very small child. Right? It's clear by time I'm 3. So I am going to amplify that boy stuff that makes boys boys. Because I already understand that by time I'm 3. That there are things that boys can do that just aren't acceptable for girls to do. So I'm going to do more of those things because being a boy means not being a girl. And everybody's going to continue to give me a free pass under the guise of boys will be boys. And now we are in a full snowball of toxic masculinity. Now it escalates into microaggressions like snapping girls' bras in the hallways and having it brushed off as, oh, well, he just likes you. It escalates to vulgar locker room talk. And then we excuse it all under the notion that boys are not girls. And therefore, they cannot be expected to be kind, courteous, respect personal space, and control their impulses. As a mother of boys, I absolutely dare someone to excuse my son's poor behavior with boys will be boys, because I will rip them a new asshole. I am raising sons who can play rough, be loud, be quiet, express emotions, respect personal space, and receive enthusiastic consent from their peers, and still be secure in the fact that they are boys. So don't be coming into my yard and dismissing rightfully concerned mothers with boys will be boys. Instead, take a good hard look at what is behind your desire to dismiss and excuse boys from developing the skills to be decent human beings. Because my boys can do anything that the girls can, including being respectful, honor consent, and calm. Okay, that was my rant for tonight. I don't think I'm getting comments here. Whether or not I'm getting comments or they're just not coming through, I have no idea. Facebook has been really weird lately, guys. Like, it hasn't been working well for me. No, Facebook, you're not going to do that? Okay, maybe Facebook is just being weird tonight. Yeah, no, it's just going to be strange. Okay. Such is life. All right. Well. Hey, Angela. Thanks. Okay, I'm not going crazy. People are just watching me rant. That's cool. That's cool. That's my rant for tonight. So yeah, that's my rant for tonight. Boys can do anything that girls can, including be respectful, honor consent, and calm. And we need to teach all kids how to do that. So, again, in that vein, don't forget that on Thursday we are talking about these skills that everyone is absolutely so sure that boys can't develop. I'm running my Misbehavior Proof class. It is totally free. We're going to be going over the 8 life-changing skills that your child wasn't born with, and they need your help to master, why those skills are fundamental for correcting unwanted behavior at its root, how flipping your focus from behavior correction to skill development is really the surprising missing piece that you need to best support your child, and how to avoid the 3 biggest mistakes that really quickly derail empowering these skills in your child. If you can't make it Thursday, make sure you sign up anyway and join us Friday instead. And I'm going to try and add a weekend date for us. I'm just trying to figure out my childcare. So I will make an announcement as soon as I have that figured out. Alrighty. Angela says, yep, she rants about this too. I'm glad I'm in good company. Janelle says it needed to be said. It really did. And like, again, I'm not throwing shade on anybody. A lot of people don't think critically about phrases that are really common like that. But I think it's time that we start. Like, words matter. Words have real impact on people. And the things that we just kind of throw out because they're cute and it sounds good, can really be an indication of a larger societal problem. And I think boys will be boys is definitely one of those. Corey says, thank you. You are so welcome. Okay, so thank you for being here with me this evening. I will see you next week for another Uncommon Sense parenting class, if I don't see you Thursday or Friday for the big Uncommon Sense parenting class, the Granddaddy Uncommon Sense parenting class. Okay? Have a great evening, everybody. Bye.